YouTube.
What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we're talking about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man's Season 1 finale. But before we get into all of that fun, Dave, Doug, how's it going, gentlemen?
Well, Keith, I gotta tell you, I'm fan-freaking-tastic. I like the way this show ended. It's more than just your average, when I was watching it, I was kind of comparing it in my head to Saturday morning cartoons. But it's more than that. It's got more of a plot. But it's not something that people who don't watch animation will watch, which is sad because it's such a good story. But, Doug, let's move on to Doug, and then we can talk deeper about this. So, Doug, how are you doing?
Well, Dave, let me tell you, I am even more outstanding. Did you guys notice I got a little trim, a little cleaned up?
That means you got some tea today, didn't you?
No, they closed that part down.
Oh!
But I did get some comics.
Cha-ching.
Decided to check out the new Ultimate line. It's interesting. It's different. It's weird that they're using the Ultimate branding because it's a totally different story.
The only reason they're doing it is because the maker's the villain, and he's from the Ultimate Universe.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's right.
Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man right now.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
But yeah, I was talking to the guy there at the comic book shop. Got some recommendations because I've been, I was really deep into the Vader comics, and so he said that he was telling me a couple of recommendations of good ones to check out. A couple by the same writer, so that was cool. And then he also mentioned that there is a Kylo Ren origin comic out now called Legacy of Vader. So I'm gonna have to. They were already sold out. Just came out in February. Already sold out. So he says it's good. I'm gonna see if I can order them online. But yeah, I have to check that out.
I believe that's the one where we find out that Vader went back to Tatooine and killed Watto.
Oh, for real?
What would you do that for?
All right. Okay, I'm gonna definitely have to check that out. But so while I'm looking for that online, Keith, sir, how are you doing?
Gentlemen, I am tremendous. I was really blown away by how well they put together this first season of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Was it perfect? No. But man, they really did a great job putting it all together. And like Dave said, we'll talk about it more in depth here in a minute. And what are we waiting for? Gentlemen, do you want to talk? Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
You know what? I do.
You know what? I think that's why I came here. So yeah, let's do it.
Sounds good. I mean,
Right.
Episode 9, Hero or Menace, starts out with Dave's boy Norman Osborn taunting Otto in jail. I was like, wow, this is, if only Peter could see this side of Norman right now.
It's such a super evil genius thing to do too. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, of course he would. Of course he would go to like rub it in his face and like, ha ha ha, I made money off of all of your stuff and you're in prison. Ha.
And I did it. I sent you there. And now I'm getting all your inventions and I'm going to make all the money.
Tony Stark. It was me.
Now, isn't that him really showing the although we all know he's kind of sinister, interesting choice.
But you said the word.
But that's the first time he's shown real crack during this series.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and it'll get bigger later.
I would say that I'd say the first crack that I noticed anyway was when he was giving his speech to Peter, basically saying, if you aren't gonna, push yourself, if you aren't gonna step up, then we're gonna have to cut ties. To me, that was the first time I was like, oh, okay, he's Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Then we see the 110 deciding they're going to take on Scorpion's gang. And Big Donovan got a little messed up, decided to run away, get off there, because they were trying to steal the van, which I thought that was great. They go over to Octavius's, they see Oscorp loading up all the gear, and they're like, "We're taking it. That's ours." And I'm like, "Oh, come on and get it. Come on." Of course, they don't really get it, but a huge fight breaks out. Scorpion almost kills a Big Donovan. Lonnie goes into that looking for weapons, and that mysterious mist kind of catches him.
Mm-hmm. Some sort of mysterious comic book chemical, you know. Everybody's always falling into science experiments.
Well, that's how all the villains get their powers, is from chemical spells. Well, except for there's one good guy who did, and that was Daredevil.
And the Turtles.
Yeah, and the Turtles. I mean, the Joker fell into a vat of acid. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's all chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
For the bad guy.
You know, I actually have a question about that scene, and I was curious what you two thought about it. Do you think the Vulture from the MCU, from the home movies, do you think he is operating in this universe as well? Because I feel like that would have been a prime target for him, going after, like, his crew was stealing a lot of the tech from Ultron, from the aliens when they invaded during the first Avengers. Anything that they could get their hands on, they could rework. They were, trying to steal. So I'm curious if he exists as he did in the home universe in here. You'd think he would have gone after that truck.
I think that's a good theory. The only reason I don't think that he was going after it is because it wasn't the normal. Because that was all.
I think it's because it wasn't alien technology. That's what he was looking for in the first place.
Because it didn't seem like, if you go back and you watch Ultron, yes, that was what they were initially going after, but I don't think that was the only thing on his radar. It seemed like they were trying to get their hands on, anything that the Avengers had come across.
But I think the reason he might not have went after this one is because Damage Control didn't have eyes on it. Because he was always using Damage Control's cleanup crew to take that stuff, where this was Osborn taking it, so he might not have known about it.
Might not have been on his radar.
Yep. But I like that. I didn't even think
That's
about the home Vulture maybe working in this, and we might.
He may not exist in this universe.
True. The food's not good enough here.
The food's not good.
Yeah. Apparently, he knew how to go in the multiverse by himself. He was able to do that without whatever happened.
Oh, dude, Dave, what if he's a Nexus being?
Oh, jeez.
Don't even start that. No, we're not having this.
And all events in his life are Nexus moments.
Right.
They all have to happen.
Including accidentally starting the Sinister Six at the end of Morbius.
Yeah.
Peak Nexus moment.
Okay, everybody, that's our stream for the night. So
We have been canceled.
Lonnie has gained some strength and durability from the Terrigen Mist. I don't think he's inhuman. I probably shouldn't say that. But he ends up helping Spider-Man beat up Scorpion. And when Scorpion drops those girders on Lonnie, Spider-Man goes full what Norman wanted and starts, damn near killing Scorpion.
I actually thought, there was going to be a lot more blood, but then I was like, kids probably are watching this, so they're probably going to look at that. But then, with Tombstone stopping him, their first little battle together, you know what I mean? It was a feel-good moment that he was able to, he's going to stop Spider-Man. So next time around, it's going to be flipped, But
and it's going to be that much more heartbreaking for Peter when he figures out that Lonnie has went full villain. Because, kind of jumping to the end, you see his skin like starting to change.
Yeah.
Starting to flake off, and
Yeah.
he throws out his jacket. He's filled there was obviously a vacuum left. The former leader of the 1/10 decides, I'm scared, I'm going to take off. And so he's got to lose a lot of reputation because he didn't stick around. He ran away. He left his crew to, get possibly beaten or killed by the Scorpions. So Tombstone is leading them. He's telling them, okay, you go over here, you go over there. and they're all working together. He's giving them orders, telling them what to do, like a team captain. And so, obviously they're going to say, oh, well, you're perfect to fill in this space. We no longer have a leader, so.
And he was the one who helped Spider-Man defeat, Scorpion. He's the big hero
Now,
on campus.
What you were talking about a minute ago, where you were saying Spider-Man looked like he was ready to kill, I was getting some serious No Way Home vibes when he was about ready to, to end the Goblin. I really would like. It seemed like a very similar action. I assume that was done on purpose.
Yeah. There's a lot of mirroring between this and the movies, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same thing, and it was nice that it was somebody like Lonnie stepping in for, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man to kind of fulfill that role and be like, hey, this isn't you, don't do it. And it was funny because when you see him come back and he's talking to Norman about it, and Norman's like, well, you did the right thing, and the right thing will step in when it needs to and stuff. He's almost pushing Spider-Man away from him because he's got the blood. We find out in episode 10, right near the beginning, that all the stuff they've been working on and taking the blood, like we talked about last week, is going to be like the ultimate Spider-Man thing. Of course, they put a little spin on it, which I really enjoyed.
Yep.
But he's using Peter Parker, and he's trying to make, he even said, if I only had 100 of you. And that was not him just wishful thinking. He wants to make an army of superheroes that work for him. Now,
the one thing that I hope they don't do is, I'm fine with them using a similar way of going about it, like the Ultimate Comics, where they're using his blood to create these super spiders. But what I hope they don't do is go the Amazing Spider-Man 2 route, where it turns out Peter would have been the only person who could have gotten the spider powers because something magic genetics due to his father's experiments. I thought that was a stupid addition to the movie. I think the best part about the Spider-Man story is not only, it wasn't so much that Peter got bit, it was the fact that it could have been anybody. And we've seen that in, other what-if scenarios. That spider could have literally fallen on anybody. And it could have given anybody else those powers. Unless they go with, like I said, what they did in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I thought that was dumb. I hope that's not what they're going to imply, in Season 2 and Season 3 of this, that Norman is doing all of this, but it turns out Peter has magic blood. I don't know.
That is the best Spider-Man movie ever. What are you talking about?
Okay. You going to die on that hill?
How dare you, sir?
You're not wrong. Doug, definitely not Dave. But, we then see, not only is he, hey, how's the blood working? Are we close? Yada, yada, yada. We find out all of those interns were working towards Project Monolith, which is Norman wanting to plunder the cosmos, which I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then we see Doctor Strange come in, and as soon as he said, what do you mean I destroyed the school? I don't know what you're talking. I'm like, oh, he's going back in time.
You caught on way quicker than I did, because my initial thought was, oh, multiverse thing.
Yeah, that was my thought too. I thought, no, this is another Doctor Strange. The other one who went from the beginning was from a different universe. Yep. Oh boy.
That's the direction I thought they were going to, but clearly they must have been like, no, we're not doing that anymore.
That was cool how they kind of put that together. I didn't think it was amazing. I wasn't looking, but I thought it was pretty cool.
It was a cooler idea, and it definitely switches up the Spider-Man origin story a bit. I like that.
Which is weird now, because basically that spider that bit him was filled with Peter's blood.
Right.
So he somehow gave himself powers.
Yeah.
I was like, that's actually pretty cool. Because I thought for sure that spider was going to be like from the planet of the symbiotes or something crazy like that. So having this, I was like, that's kind of cool. I thought it was a nice little twist. And I'm
assuming based on we didn't see the needle going into him for very long or a whole lot of other things. But my assumption was these aren't normal spiders to begin with. I'm assuming something else was done to them too.
Yeah, they put a little paint on them. They were different colors.
They were blue, yeah. That was kind of like, yeah, something's a little different about that. I do wonder, and I'm sorry to keep bringing up the movies. I wonder if
Look,
this
you drove
is
Dave off.
kind of similar to
Oh
what
no,
they
I'm
did.
here. I just don't want everybody to watch me while I eat.
Well, now we know you're eating.
Yeah, but you don't have
Keith,
to
if
see
you
it.
could turn up his volume so we can hear him chewing too. But no, if you go back and you think about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, that was kind of their way of going about it. Instead of saying, "Oh, it's a radioactive spider," it was like a genetically modified spider, and it was supposed to be the combination of three things. Again, I wonder if they're kind of combining a bunch of, like, they're picking and choosing the best pieces of Spider-Man origin stories and kind of slamming them together into one.
It definitely seems that way. And I'm sure they did a bunch of crazy things to each of the spiders, trying to figure out what best way to have it bite people to give them powers.
I'm waiting for someone in the comments. No, actually, there's a blue spider in the rainforest, and if you would study up on your spiderography, I don't even know. I'm not.
The rainforest, where my mother went to work on spiders.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Where the spider
Before
people
she
are
was
swinging from trees.
Madam Web? What?
I must find those girls before they kill me in the future. By the way, none of my words will match the movement of my lips.
That was the best part. He must be an alien. His mouth is not matching.
I wonder what he's really saying.
But we see at the end of all of this, obviously Doctor Strange sends him back. Peter sort of saves the day. We find Harry and them basically talking, hey, I understand if you can't, ever trust my dad again. Yada, yada, yada. He's going to start his own little worldwide engineering brigade. That's WEB, if you're into three-letter acronyms.
I noticed that, Madam Web.
And he invites a bunch of young geniuses to come join him.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see what one of the names was on there?
No, I did not see all the names.
Harry Crawford.
Max Dillon, a.k.a.
Oh,
Electro.
Wow, all right, okay. Cool.
So we're getting hinted at, and obviously Peter and Amadeus Cho and Asha and all those. Ned Leeds, too, was another one.
Oh, okay, Hobgoblin confirmed.
Yep, we're getting Hobgoblin and Electro Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that. Once again, his name's just there. They can hint at these villains. They'll probably introduce him next year working for Webb. He'll probably get his powers in some wacky experiment he's working on. He doesn't listen to the safety protocols, and he knows what he's doing better than anybody else. And, he ends up getting superpowers because that's how it works. I just thought that was a nice touch, adding that little in there, even if we never see him, because obviously some people turn him down.
That's a good way to do Easter eggs, is where you just kind of throw them in there. If somebody notices them who knows what that means, cool. And if they don't, it's just a nice little, background piece. Doesn't really affect it. We'll eventually, learn who these people are in this world, in this universe. But for the people who know the names, know the comics, know the stories, you're like, I recognize that.
And then there was another little comic book aha moment later on, which a little more obscure than Electro. Jeannie, we find out, is working with Daredevil. And she is actually an established comic book
I was a
character
bit surprised.
named Finesse.
Okay, I did not know that. I was wondering who she was, and I didn't think to look it up after.
And here's the crazy part.
Okay.
She's the daughter of Taskmaster.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, they're pretty sure she is, but we find out in this comic book run that Taskmaster, because of his photographic reflexes, he can't remember things from the day before. Because his brain is filled with all this stuff. And she has the same power. So he's like, I might be your dad, but who knows? But you kind of assume. that she is, but she was part of Avengers Academy when it first came out, and rarely
That's such a writer. That's such a comic book writer loophole when
Yeah.
they're like, we're not gonna say that way in the future we can make it be whatever we want.
if we're gonna retcon it, we've got the
Right.
out now.
If they're having sex with Taskmaster, that must be wonderful for the lady. I mean, he's got to know all the best moves. All he
Only
had to
if
do
he's
was
watched
see-
all the best moves. He just
Right.
doesn't know them
He's
all.
watching porn. He's watching porn. He gets married, and he's like, "Yeah." I don't know.
No, you're probably right. He's like, let's check these videos out. Or she's like, after the first time, here, watch these videos. He's like, oh, this is good stuff.
Here you go. This is what I want you to watch.
So, made me think, I wonder if we're going to see Taskmaster possibly in this universe. He could always be an agent, a mercenary hired by Osborn or hired by Otto, because we do also see Otto looking like he's ready to break out of prison. Like, Norman did enough to irritate him so badly. He's like, I'm getting out and I'm getting my revenge somehow, some way.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Lonnie become the leader of the 110s. I'm sorry, the 110ths. And then Norman finds a little hint of a symbiote.
Little inky black might come into play later.
Interesting.
I wonder if that'll come. Nah, probably not. There's no good Spider-Man
doesn't mean-
stories, with
He's gonna be like, throw it away.
burn it, hit it with sonic waves.
Oh God.
And then we also see, I think
Hardy's voice.
the biggest shock to me was seeing May going to prison and talking to Peter's dad.
Right? So that implies that at least one of Peter's parents is alive. I was like, oh, okay, that is a different twist. You generally don't see that in the Spider-Man Peter Parker story. So I was like, okay. So now I'm wondering, what the hell did this guy do?
Was he framed?
And how long has he been locked up? How old was Peter when this happened?
He was
Usually
young.
his story is framed as he's like 5 or 6 when he moves in with May and Ben.
So if we're talking like at least 10 years he's been locked up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What for?
Right? Was he a supervillain in this universe? Did he because in the comics he's always some sort of scientific mind, So I'm wondering, did he go the Otto route and he's using science for evil?
Or did he figure out a way to get electricity to the people for free, and so they locked him up?
Oh, or did he mess with his son's genetics to make sure that in the event that he was bitten by a time-traveling spider... Oh, no? Okay. You're both shaking your head no.
Just stop.
I don't think he did that.
But it's such a remarkable idea.
Leave that movie alone. Leave it alone.
We're going to take away your Netflix if you keep talking about Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Did he travel to Peru to look for spiders?
In your stolen cab.
Or he created teleportation, and FedEx and UPS framed him for murder and sent him to jail because they didn't want to lose all that business. I'm glad they didn't really say what it was, though. It'll be good to see. I always think when you see something like that, Peter is such a good kid and always wants to do right. Like his dad will be somebody who was framed. May knows it. They didn't want to tell Peter about it because
They want the Flash story now.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of Flash-like, yes. Because heroes should have good dads.
I actually hope it's the opposite. I seriously, I really hope that it turns out that this version of Peter Parker, his dad is like an idiot scumbag, and he just tried to rob a bank or something. He's like Kingpin's dad, basically. That's what I want him to be like, just a useless drain on society. And he's gonna get out one day, he's done his time because all he did is rob a bodega or some nonsense like that. So he's gonna get out, and he's gonna be like, all right, Petey, great, you got powers, cool, let's go and rob this bank, we're gonna hit the big time.
I hope he talks like that too.
Or Or hold on, about to get dark. He played 9/11.
Ooh, wow, dude.
9/11.
I'm sorry, still too soon.
Still fresh.
It's like, so, Peter, your dad's in prison. Yeah. What did he do? Did he like rob a bank or something? 9/11. Oh, did he do something? No, he did 9/11. Cool. So he belongs in prison. Great.
Yeah, but I wasn't even born then, so I don't know.
I don't know. Oh my God, that's right. He is young. I don't know anything about that though.
How could he commit a murder that happened 10 years before he was born? He's just that good.
Okay, well now that I've completely derailed
Yeah,
our
now.
stream, bring us back, Keith.
So we have a lot of what's next possibilities for this amazing Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show. It looks to me like Doc Ock will be the one putting together the Sinister Six.
Probably.
And he will be the one responsible for Norman taking the goblin syrup too soon before it's fully stable and causing him to go mad, which he'll probably end up destroying most of Otto's crew. Possibly. And it just, the way they've set this all up to have two supervillains kind of be at each other's throats, love it. It's not all, hey, we gotta get Spider-Man. These guys both want their piece of the pie. They both want, which is why I thought when Doug's theory that Kingpin was coming into play with this, since we were getting Daredevil, I thought was equally cool, because it would have been Kingpin's trying to take this stuff and Norman's gonna start fighting back, but they can use, Doc Ock and Norman against each other, because obviously there's a lot of people on the streets who got their superpowers from Doc Ock's, inventions. So he's going to have people on his side. Norman's obviously going to have people on his side. And we could see a full-scale brawl between two supervillains, which, with Peter caught in the middle, because he's going to be probably thinking, I got to help, Oscorp, they help me out, but he's probably going to have Daredevil in his ear too. Like, listen, you can't trust Norman Osborn. You just scratched the surface with what he did with Monolith. He's a bad dude, and he'll probably prove it to him at some point. And then, of course, right when Peter kind of realizes the truth is probably when the serum is going to be, taken by Norman, and we'll get the full Green Goblin, which I am really looking forward to. Colman Domingo's portrayal of that. I think it's going to be
never going to go off.
The what?
When's the Spidey sense going to go off and let him know about Osborn?
Well, he hasn't been endangering Peter in any way yet. So until he does something that will hurt Peter directly, it won't go off. And Peter's young.
Also, you know the way MCU Spider-Man operates is Spider Sense only activates when they need it to. It's not very useful.
Well, what I mean is, when do you think it's going to happen? Halfway through next season?
I think it's going to happen as soon as Norman shows some sort of killer intent. As soon as, if he does end up becoming the Goblin, which probably will, if he does, and he switches to the Goblin persona and attempts to harm Peter, I think that's when we're going to see the little hairs on his arms raise and realize you're not Norman anymore.
You know what's nuts is I can't picture the guy. I don't know who the guy doing the voices. I always picture Giancarlo, our stand guy, Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito?
Yeah, I always picture him being the voice, but I know it's not. But I don't think that voice could do a laugh like William Dafoe did. William Dafoe did.
William, yeah. But he doesn't have to do it like that. I mean, he'll probably have his own take on it. I don't think he'd try to imitate William Dafoe's, because that was so freaking perfect. He was so great as it. You want to do your own take on it. I don't think he'll try to do the same. So that's why I'm looking forward to see how he handles it, because he's not going to just want to redo something that's already been done. It'll be his own, so it should be interesting. And they didn't rush it. I've said this so many times watching this show. They are not rushing anything. They didn't rush to make Lonnie a villain. He's still not a full-on Spider-Man villain yet. Obviously he's leaning that way. He teamed up with Spider-Man to take down a villain. So Spider-Man's probably, oh, hey, Lonnie's strong now and he's a good guy and it's going to help. And Norman hasn't turned into the Green Goblin. Doc Ock, even though he had those drawings behind him, foreshadowing, what he's going to become. He's not Doc Ock yet. I mean, we haven't gotten the Rhino yet. We haven't gotten, obviously they hinted at Electro next season. I mean, for what they did in a season where barely any true Spider-Man rogues came into play, I just think they've done a great job.
I think it fits for the timeline, too.
That's why they're sprinkling so many characters in there, I think. Because then they don't have to move, they don't have to move that story along at a fast pace. They can just weave them all in and move it along at a slow pace.
Yeah, they hopefully. I mean, at this point, we know they're getting 3 seasons at least. I really hope it's more. I think they continue down this path. We could get 10 seasons of quality Spider-Man. I was so mad. I don't know if you guys ever watched the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series. So good.
Yeah.
And
Very
they
good.
canceled it after 1 season because Disney got the rights and obviously wanted to make their own. Kind of like how Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes got canceled too. And then Disney's version of Avengers Assemble and Ultimate Spider-Man were so bad compared to what we had. And, Spectacular laid down a lot of groundwork for stuff. And
it was
then
the
canceled.
voice acting was really good. The backstories for a lot of the villains was excellent.
By the way, I brought up Spectacular for a reason.
Okay.
Josh Keating, who did the voice of Spider-Man for Spectacular Spider-Man, was Richard Parker's voice in this.
Really?
Yeah. I always like to check to see who's in it, if there's any surprises, and it said that, and I was like, oh my god, and I looked it up, I'm like, is that the Spectacular Spider-Man dude? And it was. That is cool. I love when they do little castings like
cool.
that, and so he's going to be a good guy because Spectacular Spider-Man does the voice.
Oh, it ruined your theory. Well, no, our theories are 100%
That's
correct
right.
all
That's
the
right.
time. So, it didn't.
Now, I would love to find out that they've got somebody on staff, whether it's one of the voice actors or the writers or something, someone sort of like the voice actor for Darth Maul, who is constantly in the background, like just nerding out about whatever. Like we've got this local, Spider-Man lore nerd who's going to be like, actually, that's not something that Peter Parker would do. And I know because I've literally read every comic.
Right. The Stan Whitwer. They need a Stan Whitwer.
Yes, I do.
We have what's going to happen between Harry and his father, because obviously he's starting his worldwide engineering brigade with some young geniuses, so they're probably going to be at odds. We still have Daredevil and Finesse investigating Norman and whatever's going on, because that hasn't really, wrapped up. And then obviously the symbiote that Norman has is going to come into play.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the stuff with Richard Parker. I mean, what a way to end.
Oh, you
season.
forgot something.
Oh, what did I forget?
In the Sky.
Oh, yes. That was crazy. The Watcher is everywhere.
Yes. We kind of thought, I want to say like back when the first couple of episodes dropped, it was a theory where like, it's interesting if it would turn out that this is like just a what if scenario, because they're doing such a good job of mirroring so many things that, we saw happen in the rest of the MCU. Like we heard about the Sokovia Accords. Obviously, Peter wasn't at the airport during Civil War in this version. He never met Tony Stark, Iron Man, didn't get involved with the Avengers. So there's been a branch. It's been a bit of a shift And we implied, this seems very much like a what if scenario. There are a couple of things that are the same, but instead of Tony Stark being his mentor, Norman Osborn steps in. And in fact, we've got a Norman Osborn in this universe where we didn't have one in the MCU, Spider-Man Home universe. So it's interesting that they basically said, yes, not your status quo. We've been watching your videos. You are correct. Here's the Watcher.
It was a pivotal moment in the evolution of Spider-Man. And Uatu had to watch it.
That's right.
I even like that Doctor Strange has his gloves from the comics. I know that's
So
something,
goofy, but
something.
yeah.
I know. It's silly. It's not needed, but man,
They all have their silly looks from the comics. It's okay. It's fine. Like it grew on me. I did not like it at first. And back when we first saw the initial trailers, I'm like, this looks dumb. I don't like this. But it's grown on me.
and that's good because it's
Mostly
a good
because
show.
I've gone back and I've watched some older stuff and I realized how terrible the animation was and I just blindly accepted it.
That's like when you watch the original Star Wars, and you're like, "Oh my God, some of the CGI is wretched," but you're like,
It's like,
you still love it.
oh yeah. It's a good thing
You ever
George
watch,
did that. All right.
You ever watch Doctor Who from the 70s?
Oh yeah,
No.
Oh, that's some terrible, terrible
Is it?
effects that they have. But you know what? You're watching for the story.
Do you remember the original cut of Phantom Menace with Puppet Yoda?
No?
I don't either.
Uh-uh.
I saw it opening night. I don't remember.
So originally they had used the original puppet, obviously gave him more hair. It looked terrible. So in the digital and DVD release, they replaced it with CG Yoda.
Well, it's funny because I only saw it once. I refused to see it. One viewing was it. I did not see Phantom Menace after opening night when I saw it.
That's right. Didn't you like sleep through it?
No, my buddy did.
Oh, your buddy.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like I woke him up during the credits. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "No, you made the right decision," because that was when Thursday night. It was only a midnight showing. Like we had to go to midnight to see it, so it was like 2 a.m. or something when it was over. And I don't think I saw it again for 20 years after that. I think next time I saw it was with my nephews, and then I saw the 25th anniversary release with them. But it wasn't something I ever wanted to see again. That's probably why I don't remember Puppet Yoda, because I was about the whole movie just sitting there going, "What is going on? Why am I sitting here?"
Oh my God, I was so bored when I saw it opening night. I was just like, really?
I'm-
Except for it had two good scenes in it. You know, the pod race I thought was good.
I'm kind of glad I didn't. I mean, I was
Can't think of another one.
Oh, the mall. Well, the
lightsaber-
mall.
lightsaber mall.
Yeah, the lightsaber duel. Yeah, the duel of the fates.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't see that in theater, which it's weird that I didn't. I don't actually know why I didn't, because I was very much into Star Wars at that time. But no, I never saw that one. I never actually saw Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones in theaters. I saw them later on after they'd released on, VHS and DVD and stuff. So, yeah, I to this day have no idea why I never did, because it's not like I lived right down the road from Livonia Mall, and I used to go there all the time on my bike, to the movie theater. So, who knows? But, yeah, finally saw Revenge of the Sith, and I really hope that we actually get a re-release of it this year. It'd be nice. I wouldn't mind seeing it on the big screen again. That was, as weird as it is to admit that is the first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters.
I almost didn't see that one in theaters because I
Because
hated
the other two
Phantom
were so
Menace and
bad.
Attack of the Clones so much. And then my buddy saw it and he goes, "You should see it. It's good." And I was like, not only was it good then, the best out of the prequels, it's gotten better since the Clone Wars cartoon, and especially
The Clone Wars does make it better.
Yeah, it really fills in the gaps there. People
Mm-hmm.
like me, who was not, I wasn't overly thrilled with any of the prequels, even Revenge of the Sith. I wasn't taken by it, but when that show filled in the gaps, it made it so much better.
It really did, yeah. If you go back, so I'm not like trying to put it on a pedestal or anything. The dialogue is still god awful.
yeah, there's definitely that.
But yeah,
Written by
having
George
watched
Lucas, what do you want?
right, having watched the Clone Wars, does make it a little bit better, especially that amazing final season. Sorry, the super final season, because we got the final season on Netflix, and the extra final season that we got on Disney Plus.
The episodes that took place during
Yes,
Revenge of the Sith that were
those were
fantastic.
fantastic.
They were really good. Siege of Mandalore.
So good. Brought back Ray Fine to do the what do you call it, mocap.
Yep.
Yeah, it like they took their time with it. It effing rocked. It was amazing. That would be something to see live action. But you know what? Don't go back and do it. Just leave it the way it is.
Don't go back and do it. They're like, we already are.
All I know is that if we do get the 25th anniversary re-release, I'm definitely watching the Siege of Mandalore episodes before I go. I would rather them be intertwined into the movie.
I was about to say, like, I know they won't, but it would be really cool if they spliced it all together.
I'm sure someone somewhere is working on that. You know,
It's probably already on YouTube. I wouldn't be surprised. Although I did try to, back when that episode from Clone Wars first aired, I did try to upload just a video clip of the fight scene between Ahsoka and Maul. Like, trying desperately to convince people, if you aren't watching this, please give it a watch. It is so good, it's worth your time. And Disney immediately took it out. Like, nope, our property, don't put that up.
Stop it, Doug. They said, no.
well, we should probably rate Spider-Man before we go too far off tangent.
True. Let's bring it back.
All right, let's bring it on back. You use your Doctor Strange time travel. Dave, don't reel this in.
I was reeling it back in there. I'm sorry. It has multiple uses.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So shall I start?
Please.
Okay, I'll start. These 2 episodes, and then I'll rate the whole season.
Ooh, all right.
Well, yeah, I mean it's over, right? We got to do it.
It's over and never coming back.
These 2 episodes, I like what we said. It's so character dense now. At first, I thought maybe that was a bad thing, but it seems like they can put in a lot of different stories together. They don't have to focus on one particular villain, and by the end of that season, that villain's dead. No, they can move it along with all the villains and just getting them, at different times. I think that's actually a good plan, and you get more characters, and there's a lot more development. Tombstone's not just a piece of crap right out the gate. You get to see his backstory, and he's a good guy. He starts off, he's a good guy. He fights with Spider-Man. Oh man, but these 2 episodes, I really like them. I haven't been able to watch them again, but I probably will watch this entire season. It won't be hard to do. I think I'm going to give them an 8 on the last 2 episodes. And the season overall, I'm going to stick with that too. I'm going to give that an 8 too. I think it was really good. I don't think it just didn't wow me enough for a 9, you know what I mean? But it was really good, so I'm going to give it an 8. Who's next?
I can go next. I mean, I've been a fan of this show, the whole time. The way they're weaving in, plot lines and threads, I think the writing has been phenomenal. The worst part of this whole thing has been the animation. It hasn't been great, but I've really been able to suppress, not liking the animation because the music, the characters, the storylines, I mean, everything has just been great. And honestly, what they've done is they have completely changed Spider-Man's origin, but they did what they had to do. The characters are the same. Things are different, like Nico is with them, which was never in the comics. Lonnie being a fellow student who breaks bad after, to help his little brother. All those things weren't in the comics. They're changing things, but they still got all the characters right. And I think that's what I like about this the most. For all the changes, it's still the same thing. And they're just retconning certain things and changing it and making it better. They've done a great job of bringing everything in that needs to be in. We've already gotten the symbiote, but we don't have Venom yet. They didn't rush that. They have learned, let's just say they've learned the lessons of X-Men 3 and, Dark Phoenix, because they're not rushing anything. They're letting everything build. I thought for sure the end of the season we would see Lonnie against Spider-Man, but they didn't. They still took their time. They teamed up to take the Scorpion down, like Dave was talking about, and it just played so well. Once again, Spider-Man's like, man, my friend Lonnie, he's going to be doing good things, and he's, running off and leading a gang, in the city. It's the whole Octavius versus Norman, setting things up that way. Daredevil being there with finesse, Richard Parker being alive and being in prison. They've got so much going on, and it just all seems completely seamless. So I'm going to give these last 2 episodes a 9, and I'm going to give the entire season an 8.8. It did start off a little slow, and I can't wait. Like Dave, I will watch this season again, and I can't wait to see what little things I find in the first couple episodes that was missed. And obviously, we know in the first episode when Doctor Strange comes through that portal, that's looping all the way back to the finale. So can't wait.
Well, I was very much impressed by these episodes too. Quick question for you two. I understand it's a cartoon, probably intended for younger audiences to watch. So I get the logistics of having
animated series.
Yeah,
I get that as an animated series, got to make it family friendly. But it was very weird to me that we had a New York street gang war with no guns. Everyone's they're all just running at each other, punching each other, and I'm like, okay, I know why you're doing what you're doing, but still, come on. You can't fool me. But no, I really, really enjoyed these episodes. Fantastic watch. I'm always impressed when they're able to make a change to a character or to a story, including their origin story, but make it work. Do it in service of the story. And so far, unless they do some weird, stupid, genetic-related shenanigans, so far I do like what they're doing. I'm enjoying it. I like the idea that as soon as Doctor Strange was like, I was never there, I'm thinking, oh, this is some multiverse stuff. But when they introduce, it's like, oh, that's right. He's got the time stone, of course. Like, all right, this is pretty cool. This is interesting, a nice change. And yeah, like what you said, Keith, I actually think it's better, the changes that they made to Tombstone, because he's always seemed so separate from the entire thing. Like, he fights Spider-Man, but in the comics, he knew, oh my gosh, who's the editor? At,
Robbie Roberts.
Robbie Roberts. Yeah, he knows him. So he doesn't have that connection with Spider-Man. But now, having this sort of friendly connection where they went to high school together and they helped each other out and they were friends with each other, and Lonnie looked after him, that is going to make the stories mean something more down the road. So I like the fact that they're setting this up. Again, they are making this change in service to the overall story, and I like that. So kudos to that. I really loved seeing the Watcher show up, because I'm just like, that was the icing on the cake. That was great. Like, it's one of those, if you don't watch What If, or you don't know anything about What If, you probably thought, okay, whatever, I don't know, some Marvel nonsense. But if you're aware of the idea that, the Watcher watches all of these various alternate universes where minor things are changed, this makes total sense. And I love the fact that we get this mysterious thing with Peter's father. Who knows what he did? Totally playing 9/11, but we've got all of these kind of interesting changes. I like the idea that we don't know, what's going to happen in the future with Norman. We don't know if he's going to fully break into becoming the Green Goblin. We don't know what he's going to do with it. For all we know, they could change up the story again. He might not become the Green Goblin. He may take on the symbiote, and he may become an even more, extreme Norman Osborn. So I am looking forward to what this is going to end up. I am so glad that it was renewed. I was hesitant at first when they originally announced season 2 and season 3. I'm like, really? I'm like, there's no way. But I understand now why it's been renewed. It is good. You definitely have to check it out if you Have not watched it yet. These 2 episodes I'm going to give an 8 out of 10. Pretty good. Again, could have been better. There's a few little things that we discussed, in the review that a choice was made, but it's not bad. It's still good. 8 is still a very reasonable number.
8's a very
and
good
I'd say
score.
for the season 1 overall, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Still, seriously, watch it, check it out. Very good. The animation eventually kind of grew on me. It is still sloppy in some places. I'm not giving it a pass. When you're watching 5 minutes of a scene with nobody blinking, it's like, come on, guys. So, yeah, I was not as good at suppressing it like Keith did, but again, it grew on me over time, and I have watched worse. So, excellent series. I cannot wait for season 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And, that would be crazy. You saying, what if he never becomes a Green Goblin?
Yeah.
That would be crazy, but...
They could switch it up because we're all expecting it to happen. They've already introduced the glider, so, what a twist.
And if they did it with a symbiote, obviously that would bring out, more of Norman's anger and things like that. That could be good. I mean, I definitely want to see the Green Goblin, but if they go that route, at this point, I trust them to do a good job.
Oh, yeah.
And Jeff Trammell, who was the showrunner and the writer and all that stuff, hasn't been fired or anything. So I expect I expect this excellence to continue. It seems with how this first season went, he has it planned out how he wants this all to go down. And that, after watching it, I believe he presented all of this to Marvel. And they were like, you know what, after seeing how well the first season, they're just like, yeah, 2 more seasons at least. And we'll go from there. And what a treat. I almost wish I like the fact that we got 10 episodes in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But I almost wish, too, we had 10 weeks of this. Because...
same. I am glad that they grouped the episodes together that they did. It does make sense. Again, to make sure that we're getting the story the way that it was intended. And I think it does make sense that they did these last 2 episodes together. The way that they grouped together a lot of the other episodes, because I think the flow was better for it.
Yeah.
Well, they could have grouped them all together. It was. I could sit down and watch them all in a row.
Oh, I could too.
Yes, but for our reviewing, that would suck.
Yeah.
Coming on, circles under our eyes. Oh, we just finished watching Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Screen Crush already has 4 videos up about it.
Right. And they've already watched the rest of the season of Invincible, so I don't know.
Right.
Isn't that today? Invincible comes out today, right?
Yeah, and there was a new episode today.
Thursdays.
And a new
Very
Harley
good.
Quinn.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn's having a really good season, I think.
Yeah, it is.
No, it is. I just... This whole season has been... They have when you have an entire episode dedicated to Brainiac, and it's still great, I'm like, okay, this show can do no wrong at this point. Outside of that pilot episode, they can do no wrong.
So I have to admit something, and I'm waiting for Dave to tell me about, the presentation in Smallville, but I did not know until I had watched that episode of Harley Quinn and ended up doing a Google search. I didn't know that was Brainiac's original story. I only knew of him from, the Justice League animated series and Superman animated series, where the implication was Brainiac was invented by Krypton, and he was supposed to help detect any danger. He decided it became self-aware, and it decided, well, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and download all of their data, let it be destroyed, and take off. And then he decided that was going to be his mission from planet to planet. So I did not know the original story of. Obviously, they made a comedic version of it, but the idea that Brainiac is from a totally different planet and he's shrinking portions, major cities from planets down. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that was his original story.
Yeah. I kind of like the retconning that he was a Kryptonian AI, that realized it was like almost like
I
Ultron,
did kinda
like
it.
the danger to Earth is you Avengers. I'm going to exterminate, and he was successful at least with Krypton.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of again in the DC animated universe. I like the idea that he didn't even save any of the cities. He just downloaded all of their data into like floppy disks or whatever, and he's like, here's all of Krypton.
3 5 1/4 datas. No way.
Yeah, that was the story on Smallville, was that Jor-El had created him.
Okay, so they went the same route, really? Okay.
Yeah. But what?
Do you? Okay, I don't remember Man of Steel. Did they mention
Good.
Brainiac there too?
Yeah, he was a weightlifter and bodybuilder, strength guy.
Is it bad that I've blocked out Man of Steel from my memory?
It's funny because all I remember about Man of Steel is him snapping Zod's neck.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Oh yeah, that's
that
right.
too. It's like I don't.
I remember his temper tantrum against the dude in the bar.
Oh yeah. When he went up north,
Yeah.
kind of mirroring the Christopher Reeve.
A
one.
very Superman thing to do, you know.
Well, Christopher Reeve did it. So, and they did it on the what is that, Lois and Clark, or no, the show that's Lois and Superman, the Superman show that came after Smallville.
Yeah,
they did
it's
it on that show.
what is it called?
Oh, Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois. That's it.
Yes.
They did it.
Lois and Clark was in the 90s with Dean Cain, and I used to watch it.
and
pretty
Terry
regularly.
Hatcher. Yeah. Did I ever tell you what my dad called that show?
No.
Sacagawea.
Oh,
And you're
God.
probably like, what? Because
Of course.
Sacagawea was the
Lewis
Indian
and
guide
Clark,
for Lewis and
da-da-da.
Clark. So Lois and
Yeah.
Clark, yeah. So
I forgot all about Terry Hatcher, but Dean Cain, he made his own appearance on Smallville.
Did
As
he?
Everyone who played in an old Superman movie or TV show was fair game to make an appearance on Smallville, and a lot
Nice.
of them did.
Do you remember who he played?
He played a Jack the Ripper type. He lived for hundreds of years,
Oh,
and he was
wow.
killing people to get organs to save his wife. Kind of like a Dr. Freeze,
Mr.
or
Freeze?
whatever kind of story. Yeah.
But like
He-
worse.
Yes. And she had been alive for hundreds of years as well, and she had kept her youthful look as long as him. And when he finally saved her, she woke up and saw what a horror it was, and died.
so nobody saved there.
They didn't save anybody. Oh, big waste of time.
God, that's something else that the Harley Quinn show did really well. I love the their take on Mr. Freeze, which obviously is a variation on the DCAU version, but I like that in his last moments, it's like that was for a comedy cartoon. It was friggin' beautiful.
They did a good job. Yeah.
They
I
did.
mean, it's funny.
And now
because-
Nora Freeze is a psycho slut.
I forgot about her being that way.
Yeah, I don't know who's writing Harley Quinn and Kite Man, but both of those shows, they just handle the comedy along with the specter of their evil characters.
Yeah.
They balance it out, They keep them, even though they're ridiculously silly, they're still scary.
Yep.
Like David Keith as Apocalypse, hilarious.
Yes.
Or I think it's Keith David. I'm sorry, not David Keith. Those are two different actors.
Different people, yes.
Yes.
I didn't like the change in Lex's voice for the Kite Man show. I don't know why they did that.
I wonder if
It wasn't
Giancarlo was
Giancarlo?
busy.
Was he?
He's in everything.
I thought maybe you knew something.
No. I wonder if he just didn't have time to do it.
Possibly. It was a shock. I was like, oh, huh.
Well,
She wasn't on there very long either. Just a couple of scenes, really.
Yeah, wasn't very many. So
So you'd think you would make some time to do that. What's up, G?
or you think they would have hodgepodge together something like a la Princess Leia from Rise of Skywalker, sort of grab some stuff and throw it together. Like, okay.
Right.
I forgot.
What's
about
up,
that.
man? Come on.
What is Rise of Skywalker? What are you talking about?
What is that? It's some fan fiction.
A horrible fever dream.
Oh,
Some
wow.
bad
Sorry
fan fiction.
sorry to hear that. I just wanted.
I heard somebody the other
Hilarious.
day. Who was it? It was somebody who was in the movie and said, listen, Jar Jar Binks has a better backstory than Rey.
Oh, that was the one reel you sent me.
Was it? Okay, that cracked me up. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's true, but I'm saying it cracked me up.
You know, what'd been really funny is if the person who was editing together that movie, like, accidentally left in some sort of archival footage of Carrie Fisher, like, okay, we done? Where's the Coke?
That would have been awesome. What?
Oh shit, forgot to edit that out. Oh god.
I mean, spice. Where's that spice? Mama needs her spice.
Oh man, made the former famous rebel leader Princess Leia now a spice fiend. No, don't put Luke on an island. Put Leia in some like convalescent home.
It was
like,
Lando that got her hooked.
right. We need you back now.
He's a scoundrel.
Definitely a scoundrel.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Well, I think, the other thing that came out today, we found out that some Marvel series are getting put on hold. Strange Academy, Nova, and Terror Inc. Which I'm not too upset about Terror Inc. or Strange Academy, but man.
Nova, come on.
And I don't know if they're just kind of putting it on hold to kind of get, because they've got a lot of stuff, between Doom.
They need a finished script.
And maybe that's it. And you know what? If they are putting it off to finish the script and make sure they got something good before they start filming, support it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather it be good than here in the next year and a half or something.
Well, yeah, to hear that they're delaying the filming of Doomsday already because of script issues. Why are you filming it if you don't have a script? It drives me nuts.
Yeah. It's
Okay, I'm wondering because I've listened to a couple of these interviews from these different actors where they're not getting the entire script until like that day of the shooting in order to keep a lid on leaks getting out. I'm wondering if that's what's happening. These actors are signing on, they're not being told what the full story is, they don't get to see the full script, and then when it comes their time to shoot it, they're reading it, they're like, I'm not acting in this is stupid, this is terrible. I'm wondering if that's what's been happening. They're getting ready to shoot a scene, they've got the majority of the movie done or a good portion of the movie done, they didn't realize how terrible this part of the script was until somebody calls them out for it, and now all of a sudden we're putting Blade off the filming again to completely rewrite the script because everyone agrees it was a shit show.
Yeah. It's just funny to me that Dave's right. We were hearing, oh my God, they start filming in March in the UK, and then February they're delaying filming, till April for script problems. It's like, don't rush the movie.
No.
If they paid all that money to Robert Downey Jr. and all, bring it back, and it's the core MCU guys, and
which they're paying him an arm and a leg. And I wonder, I hope he does not phone it in. Like, I hope he's not just looking at this as, well, they're treating it as Hail Mary, so I'm just gonna phone it in. I hope that isn't the case.
I certainly hope you're right. I hope everyone involved does Harrison Ford from Brave New World.
He did a good job. I was very happy with his performance. I was worried because I know how he can get. But no, I thought that was a very good performance on his part, and
not once did he say, "Get off of my plane."
It's a shame that I guess I didn't know this, but the whole Red Hulk thing was supposed to be the mystery of this movie. We weren't supposed to know about that until they decided there's no way people are gonna come see this movie unless that's what is in all of the marketing.
Yep.
Yeah, like we said at the theater, or maybe it was Sunday night, if they had held that back, that twist would have been so cool to watch. But we all knew it was coming.
Because I even said at the theater, I'm like, any mystery that they had, that was gone within like the first half an hour of the movie. Not knowing at the time, I didn't realize that the intent was for Harrison Ford turning into Red Hulk. That was supposed to be the big mystery. That was supposed to be the big twist. And then we're supposed to get the revelation when we find out, oh, I've been microdosing him with gamma radiation. It's like, this whole time, because we've seen all the posters and the trailers, we're like, yeah, we know what that means. Okay, fine, bring it on, let's go. We've been waiting for this.
Yep.
All the while, the people who, wrote it and directed, like, oh, this is going to be so sick, they're not going to see this coming.
What do you mean he's in the first trailer?
They should have hired Zack Snyder to make the trailer. Then we all would have been, oh my god, that looks so awesome.
He can make a good trailer. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that's what he went to school for.
And while we are speaking of Zack Snyder,
Making trailers.
should we mention that Zack Snyder was at DC Studios with James Gunn today?
That's right, helping him clean out his office. Zack Snyder put everything in the box, said, get out of here, Gunn. The Snide Man is back.
You think this will shut up the snide bots?
No.
No, they're going to get louder. Are you kidding?
But if Zack Snyder was to direct a DC Studios movie, what would it be?
Let's see here. Oh, I know what he would do. He would do a Green Lantern where the lantern ring shoots deadly laser beams, and you've got a rogue lantern running around blasting holes in everybody.
Actually,
and you remember the really wet plasma that he had in Rebel Moon for all of his
no, I don't
guns?
remember that at all.
That really moist laser gun. That's going to be his lantern wing. It's just going to be dripping green fluid.
I think like 6 people saw that movie, along with us.
We were 3 of them.
Yeah, we were 3 of the 6.
Rob from Attack on Shows, number 4. Oh Lord. But no, so I could see that being like, and we're gonna have Batman tracking it down. He's gonna have an old school Sherlock Holmes magnifying glass, and he's gonna say, "This green fluid, only a lantern would leave a residue like that." And then he's gonna pull out his bat gun, and
Yeah, I hope he doesn't do any of that.
Come on, Joker, since you're my teammate in this dark, gritty Batman Green Lantern movie.
Maybe you can come over here and sing a song or two. What do you think?
See, now I think that might be a line that Snyder wouldn't cross. I'm not having any singing in my movie. That's dumb.
Just mermaids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, except for mermaids. I forgot about that.
That's 5
another
minutes of that movie.
It's another movie I've pretty much blocked out of my memory. It's Snyder Cut. God.
I still can't believe I watched that whole movie. Only did it for this channel.
One sitting.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's. I had to break it up into 2.
I don't know, when did it come out? Was it in March that it came out? I might have been sick. That's why I watched the whole thing all at once.
I don't remember.
It was 2021, right? When it came out?
Yeah, I think it was during the pandemic.
It was definitely during the pandemic.
And I know I did pause it a few times. It shook my head like, what the hell am I watching? But I think I said the thing.
Same. I did that a lot. I was watching it, trying to make heads and tails of what was going on, and I think the Flash scene kind of broke me, and then the Aquaman scene was like okay, this is what we're dealing with this movie. All right, great. No, I'm sorry. Going all the way back to the intro when I was when we were all told this is going to be in 4:3 ratio. Hope you have your old school TV from the 90s ready to go. What the hell are you doing, dude?
Oh boy, it's so artistic. I can't believe it. It's amazing.
You know, I would be happier, I guess. I would be more thrilled with the news if someone would just come out and be like, yeah, that was just to save money. We didn't have the funds for him to, fully color and darken and really crank up the saturation on, a full widescreen movie. So we told him that he was limited to just the original film stock or some nonsense.
Restore the Snyderverse. I mean, they have, millions of trending tweets every day, and they
all from actual human beings, I'm sure.
And none of them were instructed by Snyder himself to do any of this.
Right?
No. Hey.
That was funny when we were watching the DC Dumb Dome or whatever.
The Fandome. That was awesome.
The Palindrome?
It was hilarious because Ezra Miller was clearly phoning it in, did not give it. He's just thinking about, I can't wait till we're done filming this so I can go back to abducting girls. Oh, yeah. That's right, you forgot, everybody. He's a criminal.
This is slowing my crime spree being here. How dare they?
And then, of course, we get the clip from Zack Snyder that I'm guessing nobody at Warner watched before they, played it for everyone to hear, and he's like, yeah, the whole release of Snyder Cut movement, I helped that along. Yeah, that billboard that we said that fans put up, I paid for that. It's like,
yeah, I did it because I was inspired by them.
Why are you admitting this, dude? You got away with it.
You guys, it's a lot like Spider-Man's blood being used in a spider that goes back in time, that bites Peter and gives him his powers. Zack was pretty much created by the Restore the Snyderverse people that inspired him to do the thing that started them.
Mental gymnastics you're doing.
Right.
It really brought everything perfectly together for all of the Snyder Cut stuff.
It was a Nexus event.
I felt at least 12 brain cells die while you were explaining that.
Oh yeah, keep it up and I'll say it again and kill 12 more.
No.
Don't make me do it, Doug. I'm going to. Good stuff. Well, should we find somebody to raid? I don't know if there's...
Do it.
I think we should. What do we got out there?
I got Bubble.
I'm going to refresh my screen just to make sure that whatever we're looking at is actually on. And, yeah, see, I see Bubble, like Dave said.
Bubble.
Got, who is this? Empowered Muse? Live with Jaded Dragon. I don't remember who this person is.
I don't have them on my list. I don't know who that is. Oh, no, that's... continue watching. Let's see.
Nobody on my list is on there, man.
Oh, Alex Norminko is playing Elden Ring.
Okay.
Oh, T-Pain's there. Yeah, let's not do that. Yeah, we could do Bubble.
Let's see.
She's playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Dave?
I.
Aye.
Ayei.
All right.
Pirates, yes.
Oh man, I caught scurvy from you now.
You got any oranges? I think I feel the scurvy coming on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, while Keith is doing that, while he is setting up this raid, I just want to let you know that this is a little something that we do over on the Twitch side of things, where we take all of our lovely viewers and send them off into the wild blue yonder to watch somebody else. We don't really have a good equivalent to do that on YouTube, but in lieu of that, if you hit the subscribe, you like us, you share, you pat us on the back, you tell us what good big boys we are for watching all the Spider-Mans, that'd be great. So comment down below. We'll see you next time, right here on Not Your Status Quo. Hey fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.